Welcome to this Broadcom course on the Automic Automation upgrade from versions 24 to 26. This is phase 2, the technical prep phase. We make the necessary preparations to the technical environment, systems, database, file systems, and Automic to be ready to execute the upgrade. This can be done over an extended period of time, say weeks or even months. First, we duplicate all server component directories, as well as service manager directories on all those systems. Those source directories contain your active instance and must be left untouched. We duplicate them to create the file systems that will support the future version 26. From this point forward, all work will be performed in these directories. We assume an installation directory called /opt/atomic, which we refer to as dir in square brackets. Your new directories can simply be appended with _26. We provide the commands for each component. The result should be this. At /opt/atomic, you should have two directories, the operational v24 components directory and the future v26 directory. This only concerns utilities, automation engine, and service manager. AWI is not affected by this. When version 24 was installed, we left behind the installation packages with the tar extensions. We removed them for every component. We also empty the contents of each temp directory since we have no need for version 24 logs. For utilities, automation engine, and service manager, we copy the version 26.tar.gz install file from the install package into the newly created destination directory. You uncompress and untar each file. New bin and temp directories are generated. What happens next is of critical importance for the way upgrade file systems are being created. Contents are handled based on three possible case scenarios. First, where a file already exists with the same name, the current file is overwritten with the new file. This is the case for the binaries, which is good. We want 24 binaries to be overwritten with 26 binaries. Second, where a file exists in the install package but not in the directory, then the file is simply created. This is the case of ucsrv.ori.ini. When version 24 was installed, this ORI file was renamed ucsrv.ini prior to configuration, and so a new version 26 ORI is created. Finally, if a file exists in the new directory, but there is no matching file from the install package, it's simply preserved. This is the case of the old ucsrv.ini. Again, this is good. It means we're preserving all existing INIs for future comparison. Finally, installing the new web interface is straightforward. You copy the contents of the install package into the new web interface directory. Again, the web interface is not affected by this. Next, we set the new configuration files for the future version 26. We rename the existing INI files _old, since they contain version 24 configurations, making them obsolete. We also rename each ORI file into the standard INI. These will be the version 26 files. We copy the settings from the old INI files into the new ones. This will include ODBCVAR strings, the system name, TLS, and so forth. We do this for the automation engine, all database utilities, and the service managers. The service manager's configuration files, INI, SMC, and SMD, should not require reconfiguring. We've worked on the other components. We can focus on AWI. The procedure is a little different because it doesn't have a tar file. First, we copy all plugins found in the auto-install directory not named EEC into its matching version 26 directory. Next, we copy the uc4config.xml settings into its matching file in version 26. While you are here, you can rename the sample as the real thing. The web interface is now ready to be deployed. Make sure you've done the necessary preparations for the service manager on this host if you have one. Copy the db.tar.gz file into the new utility directory, then gunzip and untar. This is needed for the version 26 DB load. Your maintenance procedures should be configured and executing on a regular basis. If your maintenance is set on a long schedule, make sure you can execute these before the upgrade, so as to remove the history records, object versions, and so on. You should also clean out all old records in the process monitoring perspective. Finally, we'll create a number of test jobs. These jobs need to reflect the reality of your core application jobs. Any specific complexity built into your key critical jobs, such as include objects, should be replicated in the tests. Also, we'll create test queues for the execution of those jobs. This is to avoid using the production queues, which should not be restarted until we're 100% confident that the upgrade was successful. Restarting production queues is considered the point of no return, where a restore is no longer possible.